Really hope that you all are having a blessed day. So the reason why I'm on is because God has given me a word for somebody out there today. I'm trying to be really quick, you guys, because I gotta hurry up and get dressed and get out of here for work. But what God was putting in my heart this morning, so He had me took me back to the book of Ruth, you guys. So whenever you get the opportunity, take the time to read the book of Ruth, chapter 1, 2, and 3. It's going to encourage many of you all out here today about her story and how she stepped out, even though even though her current situation was bad. You know what I'm saying? It looks like um, everything was going to continue to be bitter. The same cycle was going to continue to repeat itself. And even when she was stepping out, she was going through some things. She lost her husband, she lost her kids, you know what I'm saying? And she lost everything. So they were getting ready to enter into the land. They went into the mindset thinking already that the people were not going to receive them, that it was going to just be a horrible time. They're probably going to have a struggle, on and so forth. So, I began to ask myself, what if they had not, stepped out into what God had laid on Naomi's heart to do, to return back to Bethlehem, because she had heard, God just so happened to have the news to get back to Naomi to inform her that they were doing good in Bethlehem. And so what if she had not went? What if she had not stepped out, in that? Can you imagine? You know what I'm saying? After everything that had happened where they were living around the Moabites and things like that. Like, could you imagine? If they had not stepped out, Ruth wouldn't have met Boaz and, ended up being blessed in the way that she was. Naomi probably would have still been struggling. She didn't have a husband to get out there and work or whatever to prepare the way for her. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I'm glad that they went on ahead and they stepped out in it, regardless to how they felt or what their current circumstances was. And look, it ended up becoming a blessing. So for many of us today, the Lord put in my heart to inform you that a lot of us are scared to step out and walk into what God is calling us to do, because we have a mindset, and the enemy is just so strategic when it comes to this. He reminds you, you know what I'm saying? So, a lot of us, we have a mindset that reminds us of how something worked out for us in the past, but God, I want to remind you today that God Himself can change your situation at any time. He says, regardless of how we feel or how we think it is, it is our duty, it is our call. He says to be obedient unto Him. It is your obedience that moves God. It is our past mindsets that get us stuck. And he began to say, due to fear of the cycles repeating themselves. Amen. Repeating itself. For most of us, he says, it's fear that keeps us repeating the cycles. He says it's fear that causes us to repeat the cycle. He says literally, it's us being afraid. And when we get afraid, we begin to talk ourselves out of what God told us to do. Say with a lot of, he say, and then when you think about it, he says it's just a lot of what ifs. This is what the enemy does. The enemy uses what if. What if I step out and then it happens again? What if I step out and this comes against me? What if I step out and I lose everything I got? What if I step out? What if you step out and in that moment, God shifts the atmosphere and everything that you thought was going to work against you ends up working out for your good? Like God just had me to tell you, now it makes sense why He had me to come on and say the message about, if God be for you, what can be against you? You got the one that can make all things new, walking with you, going before you, fighting the battle, setting the atmosphere before you even get there. But it's our mindsets that keep us repeating the cycles and causing us to be fearful and afraid. God doesn't want us to be fearful and afraid, because a lot of people don't realize this, but fear is a sin. It's something that God asks us not to do. especially when we know that he is with us. When we know that God is with us and he telling us he with us, and he telling us the weapon may form but it won't prosper, and we still fear, yeah, we in sin then. And when we get in sin, God's hand can't move like we need it to in order to go before us and give the enemy the butt whooping he needs to put him in his place. Amen. And the enemy knows that. So that's why he plays on your thoughts with what if. And then all the what ifs you get are negative, none of them positive for many of us. That's the enemy at his finest work. And that's how you end up repeating the same cycles. And that's why for many of us we get stuck and we don't go anywhere for years because we just keep doing the same thing. And the enemy counts on that because as long as he can keep you going around in circles, time and time and time and time and time and time, and coming up against God, thinking that it's God's hand that's closed up tight and causing you not to be able to move. Well, in some cases I have seen, I'm a living witness to that. If your mindset don't be what God needs it to be, he'll close that hand up sometime. Like he'll be there for you. He'll answer some of your prayers and stuff, but you'll never get the fullness of what God really has for you until he know you ready for it. When your mindset adds up to be everything that God knows it could be, ooh, but talking about the unlimited doors, nothing will stop you. I had a classmate who she kept on ending up in relationships where she was being beaten and abused, and she ended up marrying somebody who came in one way and turned out that the enemy used them to do the same thing. Why was the enemy hitting her like this? Because of the call what God had for her to do. I mean, she had a great work that God wanted to do through her, so the enemy just kept her going around in that same cycle, looking for love in all the wrong places, instead of taking the time out to heal from that what she had been through. And just sometimes it's good for you to just go without a relationship sometime, especially when God is trying to do something through you, because the enemy is a trickster, man. He knows what you like, and he'll have it to come in one way and then just like it did for her, it switched up. But anyway, she ended up, after she got the divorce from that monster, she ended up trying to go step out to get a house, and somebody had told her, you would never be able to get a house, you would never be able to do this, you would never be able to do that, because your credit is this and your credit is that. So she began to seek the Lord and pray, and I was praying for her too, because I knew that greatness was in her, for her to be able to exceed abundantly above, God be able to work through her to do exceedingly abundantly above all she could ask or think. And anyway, she ended up working on her credit, and then after God gave her the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to master that, she ended up starting a business and pulling other people out of that. And then when she started helping other people, God started blessing her, with multiple businesses. She just opened up a hair salon, all kind of great things. God started unfolding for, in her life. And I mean, she just started going up higher and higher and higher. And I mean, like, because everything that she had feared, everything that people spoke against her, you know what I'm saying? Like, God used her to, to just shift all the perspectives and the things that people spoke against her. And now, wow, I mean, like, I wish I could, I'm probably going to get her to come on one day to do a testimony. Like, I'm talking about when God started working in her life, like, I'm talking about, she skyrocketed. Like, she's, me talking about it ain't doing no justice. I may have to get her to come over to do a testimony, because, like, wow, like, God's hand just, I can't even talk about it. Like, because God will just, he will do something, and I'm talking about, you just get speechless. Your words can't even do justice to how God can swoop in and just change your situation. But your mindset, bro, your mindset have got to change. Don't feed into the negative things that people are telling you. Believe, be bold enough to step out in what God is telling you to do. It's your obedience that moves God, and the will to trust him that causes the atmospheres to shift. And that what you thought was going to work out for you, God will use it. The very thing people spoke against you, just because God is God in your life, he'll show them. You said she wasn't going to be able to do this. You said, this was going to work against her. God will use the very thing that they spoke against you to work out for your good. Man, just, ooh, Jesus. I'm going to see if I can get her to come on and do this testimony, you guys. She is a busy woman, but hopefully I can get her to come on and tell you guys and encourage many of you out here today about who God is. Because if God be for you, who could be against you? Not even death could be against you. Amen. See y'all next time. I love you.